All right. All right. Let's get started here. Okay. What's going on, everybody? This is Abil Mahari here. Okay. Make sure we have the volume ready to go. All right. Okay. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? This is Abil Mahari here. And I'm officially starting my first channel here, right here in the LDBC, man. And yeah, man. And this is my first time here here live. Shout out to the LDBC. Shout out to the greater boxing community, though, man. So we're gonna have some real fun here today, man. So let's start. Let's get started right here. Introducing myself. My name's Abil Mahari. Currently, I live here in Minnesota, and I've been hanging around with the LDBC for since 2013. My first channel was 78 Sports TV, and yeah, I've been following around, sharing my opinion and then contributing to the best of my ability, though. And so today is my very first live stream, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. All right. So, what I wanted to discuss about today is the huge news that came out yesterday. Deontay Wilder is going to be in talks with DAZN. Shout out to 78 Sports TV, who sent out did a fantastic interview with the WBC champion Deontay Wilder. So the big concept is this: Deontay Wilder is in a good position at this point because now he can decide where he wants to go and where he wants to move forward in his career. In this current aspect, he can decide if he wants to go to Showtime, if he wants to go to Fox, or if he wants to go to ESPN or DAZN, whatever he wants to do. So now the universe is revolving around his hands. Therefore, the fate of the heavyweight division rests on what he decides to do. If DAZN pulls off a massive deal signing Deontay Wilder, we could have the possibility of having a undisputed heavyweight championship fight between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, a fight that we have been waiting for years. All right. So what I really wanted to detail is this. The big thing is that Deontay Wilder can choose wherever he wants to go, because remember, he is a free agent. He can decide where he wants to go and what does he want to do with his career. And what 78 reported yesterday is that they're offering possibly a lot of money. This could be bad news. This could be bad news for Showtime, because they came in with high expectations. Because HBO Boxing went out of business last year, now Showtime had the open opportunity to go all in to invest in boxing. But now, because of questionable decisions and questionable commentary, they're not really putting their foot on the gas pedal and putting their money where the mouth is. And they're sliding the door open for people or for anyone to try to take over the realm of boxing. Now, what I hope for Deontay Wilder is he makes the right decision for himself and for his family. Now, what I've seen in other chats is a lot of the haters have been criticizing that, oh, you didn't like the zone before, now you like the zone now. Well, let me explain this to you a little bit more thoroughly so you understand. There's two reasons why many people didn't like the zone. One is because the zone is not available in the American market. I mean, you can get it as an app, but they don't provide American ground sports because you're competing against, major sports leagues and major broadcasting companies. That's the big point. The second point is how a lot of the trolls try to shove the zone down our throats and try to claim that Eddie Hearn is the man who runs the zone, which is not the case. Right now, the zone is trying to push out better fights because they know that garbage fights is not going to work anymore. That's why they went out and signed Canelo, Triple G, Demetrius Andrade, and who else? Danny Jacobs. And if they pull off, and also Anthony Joshua as well, if they pull off a massive deal and getting Deontay Wilder, that's a pretty decent roster of boxers at the moment. So it's very interesting to see what will happen if they pull off this deal. Now, they're going to meet next week, and what happens in the details of that meeting will be determined by then. But what I believe is he'll listen to the offers of what the zone provides for him. And also, what I learned from the interview from 78 Sports TV is this. He's a very loyal person, and he understands the business. So he's not going to try to cut corners with Showtime. I should say Showtime. So he's going to look to try to get the best offer from Showtime or from ESPN. And so he's got huge power and huge decisions that he can make for himself, and this will influence the entire repertoire of the heavyweight division. Because right now, Joshua's on the zone, and Tyson Fury just signed with ESPN for whatever amount of money. He claims that it's $100 million. I don't believe that to be true, and also Bob Arum confirmed that as well. So the future of the heavyweight division may rest on what he decides, what he chooses, So we'll see what happens. So let me try to invite some people in, try to send out some emails and stuff. So give me 1 second. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So give me 1 second while I send out some links here. Make sure I send out the link right here. Okay. Okay. So I sent out the three email messages to 3 other members of the LDBC. Hopefully they'll be able to catch their messages and hopefully they'll jump in. Okay. Ooh, look who it is. It's Mr. Bruce Vane. Take it to 78, bro. See you later. All right. Don't worry, Johnny. I took care of that. In fact, let me also send you a link too, my brother, since you're already there as well. All right. All right. And also Curtis Anderson. All right. There we go. All right. Just sent out some links there, baby. So we're going to wait and see who's arrived here. Hey, what's going on, Johnny, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm all good. You all right?
Yeah, bro. Just sitting back and, doing this live, man. Very proud of everybody that's coming in through today, though, man. Real appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, man. So right now, I want to make sure. Okay, let me make sure we get what it is anyway. I'll find out where the links are. But anyway, so shout out to 78 for that great interview too. So I just want to thank What do you think? What do you think about the huge news that took place yesterday that Wilder's now opening talks with the Zone, and also it's going to involve, I should say too, it's also going to involve Shelly Finkel and also Al Heyman too. What do you think about that situation?
Wilder's just gonna get his money.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you see, patience pays off. See, I think Wilder gonna sign with the Zone and get a mad bag, like probably somewhere around 200 million.
Right.
But what I feel like is since Eddie Hearn said AJ is not signed to the Zone, he might actually run off to ESPN.
Right.
So I feel like it's gonna be like the undisputed fight is gonna be very hard to make either way. But I think Wilder gonna get his back and he should take it because I mean, Showtime, I'm gonna give it to you. And another thing is, if Wilder actually signs with the Zone, what's gonna happen is uh, all the PBC stable of fighters are gonna follow because it only takes one to show what
Right.
you can do.
Mm-hmm.
That way, that way, basically, Showtime is gonna. If Wilder signs to the Zone, it's game over for Showtime because you're losing your biggest star, and you're gonna lose your other big stars. You're just gonna see. It only takes one to show what he can do, and then it's basically Wilder is pretty much like the leader of the PBC. So if
Yep.
whatever the leader goes, so will the others. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree too. You know, the one thing I kind of see out of this whole situation too is that, with Wilder, he basically played his cards right, for what I believe. Because
Mm-hmm.
put it like this. He could have easily rushed the gun and signed somewhere without even understanding what he was getting himself into. But I give him credit. I give him huge credit for just, playing his cards and not rushing anything. Because he could have signed a bad deal and he couldn't get either a rematch with Fury or get the huge unification fight with Anthony Joshua. But the thing that I kind of look at is this. This puts and this puts matchup boxing in a bind here because what we're seeing is that you can sign individual deals with the Zone that doesn't even involve Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn does not own the Zone. That's the big thing. The big thing is this. And yeah, Hyphy, let me just send you the email. I just emailed you a link, but let me try it again through the Hangouts here. But yeah, okay. The thing I would tell you, the thing is that, sure I get this right. The thing is that Wilder is doing a good job of controlling that situation, though, man. And it's like now I got to give credit where credit's due. The Zone is making moves, and they're making huge. They're doing all the right things at this moment in time. So now it's the pressure's on Showtime to try to step their game up and try to do something about it. Because if they don't, it's gonna look bad for them in the long run. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Uh, is there there's an echo.
What did you say?
Oh, there was an echo. It's all good now.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, but basically, I don't think Showtime is gonna come with the bag.
Right.
I mean, if they haven't done it before, what makes you think they're gonna do it now?
Right.
You know,
Yeah, for sure.
They took Wilder for granted, so
Yeah, exactly.
it's the time to pay. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and we got Full of Sports TV in the building there. What's going on, brother?
I'm chilling, man. What's up with you?
Just chilling though, man. It's my very first live stream, man, and we're gonna have some fun doing it, bro. So,
All right.
so while I'm trying to send a link to Hyphy here, maybe you want to, can I ask for your opinion about what about the big news that's going on here? That Deontay Wilder is now in talks with his own here.
With the Zone.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's just the game of boxing. It's still. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like Al Heyman still got his hands in in the cookie jar. So it's like it doesn't matter like what happens. Like
Mhm.
it all goes back to Al Heyman. And if it means Anthony Joshua fight, then so be it.
Right.
Then go ahead. But for me personally, if I were him, I would just sign a 1-fight deal, or
Hmm.
I would sign a 2-fight deal, Anthony Joshua, and a rematch with him.
Right.
Leave it at that. I just don't like promoters or companies like holding dudes hostage for like 5 fights and stuff like that, because it's like, what if there's a fight on the other side of the street and that's a fight you really want
Right.
and you can't get it because you have like 3 or so fights left? I don't like that. I believe that like if you're a promoter, that you should be you the contract should state that your fighter is able to fight on multiple networks. Shouldn't be limited to one network or one app, whatever the case may be. But if it means a Wilder fight in a big bag, more power to him. That's
Okay.
what I gotta say. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you guys are hearing me okay so far?
Yeah, the audio is good. Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. And we got Hyphy in the building here, man. What's going on, Hyphy?
Yo, what's up, brothers? Fuller, JJ, of course, Abel. What's up with y'all?
We all just chilling here, man. Got my live stream debut though, brother, and I just rent you up there too, bro. So you all equipped, you ready to go, man.
Oh, yeah, matter of fact, while we speaking on this wrench, hey, you see, this is how these niggas is really fans of LDBC. You know what happened? One of these dudes, they must have seen your super chats on probably, Trail, Boxing Talk, BFTB, 78 stream from yesterday evening. And one of these niggas, instead of subscribing to you, they wrote your name down and said, oh, okay, at that certain time, I'm going to go and I'm going to see if he's online. And that's exactly what happened. Troll ass niggas, man.
You know how that goes though, man. You know how that is. So, but yeah, I want to ask for your opinion too, though. About the whole situation that Wilder's going to be in talks with the Zone, and then possibly, and then now having a phone, not just a phone conversation. Now they're going to go up and meet with the executives too. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, we're going to give all the credit to 78 on that one, because it was his interview that broke that news. And, every other source, they're not going to give him any credit for shit.
Exactly.
Honestly, I'm going to just sit back and I'm going to wait, see what happens. Y'all know I'm not, the biggest on talking about, other people's monies and deals. But, yeah, I think that, they at least going to meet with him, see what's happening. And I feel just like, everybody else feel. If he go over there and he sign that deal, I'm not mad at him. Showtime, I'm gonna go in on their ass in a minute, but yeah, I'm not mad at them. Other PBC fighters gonna follow, and hey, the good fights, wherever the good fights is at, that's who's gonna get my money, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
For sure. See, the one thing I've really been thinking about this whole concept is the one thing that I believe is that now Wilder's has not made any unnecessary moves, and now he's got offers coming in. So huge credit for him for understanding that. And now we're gonna see what Showtime is gonna provide. Are they gonna push for the huge bag for Wilder to try to get him back to Showtime, or is the Zone gonna put the royal mess to their plans, and then eventually provide the fans with the most anticipated fight that we've been waiting for years? I will say this: if there's a huge purse that is going to be provided for in the Zone for Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua, and if Joshua ducks that deal, it's over, completely over. Would you all agree with that?
I can see that, but
Yeah, go ahead.
there may be other fighters that they signed that maybe keep them afloat though. Like
Right.
that could happen.
Okay. How about you, Hyphy?
Yeah, I mean, even if he go over there, I still look at it as the same thing. The same thing, ESPN was trying to do. They ain't gonna give y'all that AGCJ fight first, but I'm sure that fight would be in the works. But it's still a game. They want to keep AGCJ away from him for the minute. But yeah, that's it. That fight is going. It'll be brought up during those negotiations about that contract.
For sure. How about you, Johnny?
Oh yeah, I mean they're probably gonna put that fight in the deal because that's the fight everybody wants to see, and that's the fight that's gonna give them the subs they need. So that fight is definitely gonna be in the deal.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is Eddie said that Joshua is not signed to the zone, so that means Joshua can just go to ESPN or whatever to still duck the fight. I don't see the fight happening until 2020.
Yeah, that's what I kind of that's what I'm kind of thinking too, because in hindsight, Joshua is a weird person. I sometimes always question his business decisions or the way he moves and all that, because to me he looks like a person that allows people to control his decisions and what his business is. He doesn't take his business by the throat, kind of like what Wilder does. So I hope down the line that eventually the fight will generate much bigger buzz, so that way he can't duck it. That there's no alternative. If he decides to duck that fight, then it's a wrap. So I want to get down to the next thing that I want to talk about too. The Spence and Garcia fight is going to take place in a few weeks. So Fool, I want to turn this to you first. What do you expect out of the Spence and Garcia fight?
First, I expect Spence to box a little bit just to show that he can box, and then he'll hurt him, and then that'll be it. And then Mikey will be on the back foot most of the fight. I don't think Mikey, although he feels like he has the power, I don't think he's going to exchange with him, or it may be like maybe one or two exchanges, and then that's it. That's all I see happening, really.
Okay, cool. So what do you think is going to go down in the Spence and Garcia fight, Hyphy? What do you think?
Yeah, well, shit, I'm gonna be at that fight. One thing I can tell y'all know that incident that happened with Blue Blood, with the water and shit. First, yep. I can guarantee you that shit ain't going down at that fight. Anybody try that shit, nigga, the whole fight is gonna be off. We shutting that hole down. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But as far as the fight, I ain't got too much to say because I feel the same way as Fuller. I think Spence gonna, not only fuck him up on the inside, but also he gonna show, the haters and naysayers who like to talk about he can't box and this. I think he gonna show them, he could whip his ass from the outside. So he just gonna put the pressure on him. So I feel the same way Fuller said. I'm gonna pass it to JJ.
Okay, go on ahead, Jay. Go on there, Johnny.
Oh yeah, I see Spence establish the jab in like maybe rounds 1 and 2, and then from rounds 3 and 4 it's just mauling in the inside, and then just dip into the outside and just do like a couple of jab cross. By round 6 it's brutal KO, night.
Okay.
For Spence.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just had to take care of something real quick. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So I will say this though, man. I really believe that the fight between Spence and Garcia, I think in the first few rounds, I think Spence and Garcia is going to try to do some boxing, try to test themselves out a bit, but eventually his skills is gonna wear him down the long run, because Spence, the one thing that you give credit to Spence is that he's an excellent body puncher. He knows how to tag you to the body and stuff like that. And the one thing is for certain though too, Spence knows how to walk you down and break your body down. And I really believe that as soon as I message World Breaker here, the one thing that I really respect out of Spence is that he knows how to time you and knows how to walk you down in many ways. But I'm anxious to see how well he'll do in a huge setting, because this is his first pay-per-view, and I think he'll do exceptionally well since it's obviously the state of Texas. So it's gonna be an interesting thing when we watch when the fight takes place at that period of time. Okay, and let me tell you, and let me say this too, and this is for you, Hypey. The thing is, bro, BBC needs to start respecting the black journalists out there. There's no reason why Blue Blood should have deserved that kind of treatment. You get what I'm saying, man?
Is it you or me or something?
It was a hyphy.
Oh, yeah. All right, y'all had to come off mute. Yeah, man. To me, it ain't no coincidence that happened to Blue Blood, because, Blue, he one of them dudes. He don't give a fuck about no credentials. He gonna say whatever he gotta say. So it ain't no coincidence that it happened to him. But in the long run, I'm kind of glad that Blue handled the situation that he did, because he gonna tap them pockets.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, World Breaker, I just sent a link to your Facebook Messenger, so you can be able to access to that. Yeah, bro. Like, I actually checked out the website through the PBC. I mean, they make it look like it's easy to get the credentials, but it's the next step is just getting those credentials. And we've already heard World Breaker complain about this. We've already heard Blue Blood complaining about this too. I mean, it's just ridiculous how they try everything they can to try to bring their the hater media to join their fights, but they don't bring in the journalists out there who support them. Do you guys feel that kind of sense out of the PBC? Let's go, John. Go ahead.
PBC. You heard of CJ the Goodfella? You heard of that name before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I recently checked one of his videos out, and I kind of agree with him to a certain extent, where he says that PBC is not pro-black, it's pro-money.
Mm-hmm.
So he's saying all him and he's pro-money. So what I feel like is it's just that these it's not just the PBC, it's the fans. Like like Black Fight fan always say, like these fans are scared to associate. I mean, these fighters are scared to associate themselves with the black fans. So I mean, it's just as much the fans as it is PBC, because like that kind of treatment they're giving Blue, that's undeserved.
Right.
Because Blue is just asking real questions.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I think about it.
Yeah, and the funny thing too is when I listen to Blue Blood's stuff there too. I mean, he'll talk to Eddie Hearn, and there's no friction, there's no tension there. I mean, obviously Blue Blood's going to give him with hard hitting questions, but it's the complete opposite. It's like a 360 opposite. You feel me? So the thing is, I mean, PBC needs to start treating the people that support them a bit better. Otherwise, they'll turn ship and go somewhere else. I mean, that's a big concern that I would have, down the line for them. And so what really boggles my mind is how most times the PBC has the deepest roster of fighters, but they play a lot of the political games, because most of the fighters there only care about their records instead of going for the best fights out there, and that's concerning to me. You guys feel me on that?
Oh yeah, the thing is, these fighters, they already getting their checks, so they don't really care. I mean, they already making millions without having to fight, because Al Heyman helped them with side businesses and things like that. So, like, they don't really. I mean, once they get that kind of money, like business set up, they already have like retirement plans. So fighting is not a big priority to these people unless it's like a mad bag fight. See, I like what's actually happening to Sean Porter, because Sean Porter has been ducking or like political games and things. So nobody is giving his fight no attention whatsoever. So I feel like that's going to teach Sean Porter that the fans demand Errol Spence fight next. So I think like that's just teaching the Sean Porter a little bit of lesson in here.
Right. Yeah,
You
I
gotta
agree.
respect the fans.
Yep. So yeah, for sure, I agree with that. So hey, Hyphy, what do you think about how most of the fighters in the PBC play around with their records? Do you believe that the influence of maybe I was thinking about this in this kind of hypothesis here. Has the influence of Mayweather in protecting that record and also milking out fights did more hurt to the sport than it benefited?
Yeah, as far as the O itself, I mean, the fighters, the business got to take some responsibility, but then you got to look at the fans also because every time you look online, look what happened. You got fans that be bashing all of the fighters and stuff. If they take it, they first loss, for example, Jamel Charlo. You know what I'm saying? So it's the fans' fault also, as far as the record padding and milking the fights. But as far as milking the fights, man, I keep thinking back to that PBC interview when they first announced that Fox deal, and they was talking about they basically said they not focused on the hardcore boxing fans, they focus on the casuals. So they want to go ahead and introduce boxing to me, which is I disagree with, to the public through cable. But man, if you look at that deal, I mean, you can see they said they need a certain amount of championship fights. So that's what this whole milking thing is about. They didn't made it clear they don't care about us hardcore fans who have been behind PBC and supporting them way before. They don't care about us. So hey, I'm gonna play that game too. If it's about business for them, it's about business for me.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that because when you go, I'm gonna go back to something about the whole Crawford and Spence situation there too. I mean, the thing is this: when Spence was trying to go out and trying to make these fights happen with Thurman, with Garcia and Porter. I mean, the thing is this though: if you're like 7 8 Sports TV always says, when you see a fool, you play a fool. And when Spence started to realize that these guys are only worried about their bottom line and making sure that their record's protected, then you can't fight an established system. So the only way you do is this join in on the party. But the problem with that is that a lot of the hardcore boxing fans like us here, we don't appreciate that because we want to have the best fights out there. I mean, we're not asking for much. We're only asking for the best fighters to go against each other. And it looks to me that it's too much to ask. And I just find that ridiculous. Do you feel that way, Fool of Sports?
Well, at the end of the day, prize fighting is about fighting and getting paid and leaving the sport as healthy as possible. At the same time, though, there has to be something in you that says, I want to be great. That has to be in you to want to do that. Now, the thing is with the PBC is with a lot of these networks and stuff like that. But I think, honestly, PBC has a little bit more flexibility because you can fight on Fox, you can fight on Showtime, and you can possibly fight on the other side of the fence more easier. I mean, it takes a little bit of pulling teeth and stuff like that. But I think what Al Heyman should do, personally, I think he should sign just more fighters. Like, I'm sorry to say it, but like since Bob Arum is like trying to make that move, then just fight fire with fire and just sign more guys. Just sign like a whole bunch of guys, so it gets to a point where they will say, where people will say, oh well, since that dude's over there and there's more fights over there, I have no choice but to go over there. And so that's how I think he should play it, because with DAZN, you only have one app showing the fight.
Right.
ESPN, you have a channel and an app showing a fight. With PBC, you have two channels showing fights, or maybe three: Fox regular TV, FS1, Showtime, and you have the app for Showtime and Fox. So honestly, that's the better option, you know. And I'm not even like trying to be like a PBC propagandist. It's just the system works if dudes go over there and fight, you know, and they get paid more. That's just the reality, you know.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I respect that. We got World Breaker in the building. What's going on, World Breaker?
Nothing, doing honeydews. What's going on with y'all?
Just chilling here, man. Enjoying this first live stream, man. I'm appreciating all the support here, man. So I'm gonna rewind just a bit though. So the one thing I wanted to ask you about your bit of the feedback, what's going on with in terms of the Wilder and Wilder talking with the zone. I mean, what do you think about that? What do you expect out of it?
I expect big things, whether it's with the zone or whether it's with another organization or another company. At the end of the day, this is Showtime's fault. Right. Showtime, man, fuck this. Showtime is allowed this to happen. Mm-hmm. They slept. They took this kid for granted, and you know, now if they want to retain his services and generate more profitability, they're going to have to pay a lot more. And when you have the home field advantage, press your home field advantage. Don't allow people to interrupt that and make it cost you more. And so if the zone offers this guy $150, $200 million, what's Showtime willing to do? You know, but I don't know how much they're going to offer him, but apparently they're going to have to do better than what Anthony Joshua's getting. They're going to have to do better than what Tyson Fury's getting. And we honestly don't know what Tyson Fury is getting. Since Bob Arum confirmed that he's confirmed twice that Tyson Fury's lied about this amount. He says he doesn't know where he's getting this figure at on multiple occasions. So, you know, the way I see it, man, the zone is forcing their number up, and it can be argued that ESPN is forcing Showtime's number up too because of them having to go to pay-per-view. So, so again, Showtime has been trying to play pennies and shit. Everybody else is playing dollars, and you're about to see if they can step up. So, if the zone offers a tremendous bag, I don't think Wilder's gonna take it right away. Right. But sorry, I'm at Costco, man. I don't think they're gonna take it right away. They're gonna send the deal back to competing companies, and then people are going to have to compete for those deals to see if they want Deontay Wilder services. That's how I see it. Okay, cool. So I kind of think that. Do you believe that that Showtime is in danger of facing the same familiar fate if they don't really put their foot in, kind of like what HBO went through? Do you think in your opinion? In 36 months, yes. Until the meantime, they have a solid contract with the PBC, just like two other broadcasters do. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, worst case scenario, it could get down to a situation where they could become the PBC Forum League, essentially developing prospects on Showtime. Now, Showtime's not going to like that, but what can Showtime argue? Showtime let potentially the next big pay-per-view guy get away, and so they're responsible for this. Okay, and that's just the bottom line. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and also maybe I want to ask you everybody consensually though as well. What do you think? What do you think needs to change in the PBC to try to at least make themselves much more fan friendly to not just to the fans, but also to media people? Because you know what went down with
not just with you, World Breaker, when you try to sign for credentials, but also with Blue Blood, and how it's basically like grinding teeth to get credentials when you go with Top Rank and with the other promotional companies. Now, I never taken credentials before yet, so I don't know too much about it. But what do you think has to change overall?
You got to start over. I didn't hear you, bro. Somebody tried to call me. I didn't get to hear the bulk of your question.
Okay, it's okay. I was just asking, like, what do you think needs to change to try to improve the PBC? Because one, there's three problems I'm seeing. One, their best fighters are not facing against each other. Two,
right,
their production is decent, but it's not up to par yet. I'm not saying it has to be elite, but it's not improving. But also, thirdly, a lot of the reporters that support the BBC or try to get credentials, it's like basically grinding through teeth. When you go through Top Rank, or let's say, with Madstrom or someone else, it's a bit easier, except for Golden Boy. What do you think has to change? We'll just start with World Break and then we'll go down the line.
Okay. Well, for me, and I got my phone to here because for some reason I can't get it on speaker. I just ran into that issue. Me and 78 just ran into the issue with the PBC not giving out credentials, and it's one of those things where, I'm putting in the wrong card. It's hard for me to do two things at once, man.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you take care of that first, and then I'll come back to you about that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I'll come back in.
Okay. Hey, Johnny, why don't I swing that question down to you? What do you think?
Bro, can you say the question again, please?
Okay. So the big question, I guess my question is, what do you think has to change in the PBC because of three glaring problems? Their best fighters are not fighting against each other. Their production's decent, but it could be improved. And also that, getting credentials from them is basically like trying to pull out a rope to try to get approving credentials. What do you think has to change? What do you think has to change in your opinion?
I mean, I think the best thing they can do is just make the best fights possible, because that's all the fans are asking. I mean, but it's not in their best interest to give you the best fights, because that's not good for their bottom line. But if they really want to be like popular, I mean, not really popular, but if they want the customers to be happy, they got to listen to the customers and give us the best fights, the best fights. So we should have had Sean Porter, Errol Spence. We should have had Errol Spence. And what's his name? What's the other guy name over there? Keith Thurman. Should have had those fights, a long time ago. But you see, but if you keep the fans, if you're playing around with the fans, the fans are just gonna leave you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I think about it. See, I don't really know much about business or any of that kind of thing.
Right. Right. For sure.
I just go off what I listen and what I think. Yeah, I just all go off what I listen to people saying.
For sure.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I expect that. Okay. So I feel swinging down to you, brother. What do you think? What do you think has to change in the PBC from your opinion?
Hey, I'm gonna let Fuller go first, because my response is going to kind of venture off into something else. So go ahead, Fuller.
Okay, for sure. Go on ahead, Fuller.
The thing is, the belts are like infinite. The more belts you control, the more leverage you have in putting these fights together. So, I mean, I think honestly, at this point in time, like networks really have to maybe have a governing board at this point in time, because of the simple fact that networks control belts now. The zone controls middleweight belts. I would say PBC. No, the zone has a lot of heavyweight belts in the form of Anthony Joshua, and PBC is cool on the heavyweight side, but these networks may have to have a governing body, and the stipulation is, if you don't fight the dude, you got to vacate your belt. You know, you can't babysit belt. And you know that fighters do something, you know, to really fight and defend the belt, because it makes no sense that it makes no sense that Sean Porter mixed weight. What I think Sean Porter is going to do is, if he is successful tonight, he's going to be like, well, you know, I can't make 147 anymore. I'm moving up to 154. And again, that shows a duck move. And so in order to stop these things from happening, they need to make these fighters fight. That's what these networks have to do, PBC included. And so that's what I have to say, you know, either fight or vacate. Since people, I mean, most of the time, 90% of the time with these fights, like I'm just saying 90% of the time with the unification fights and these title defenses, they're in-house. So there's no reason for them not to fight. You know, there's no reason. So that's why I say that these networks have to like really grab the bull by the horns and do that.
Okay, Focus Ball MMA. I just got your email. I got your email address. I'm gonna send it to you right away. And also, the boxing conversation with Reggie Owens. I do agree with your premise too. I think the big issue that what I'm seeing is that a lot of the networks are playing hostage takers with the belt. It's not just with the boxing sanctioning bodies there too, because what they defer against is unification bouts, because what they want is they want to have like championship bouts on their networks. And eventually, at some point in time, there's going to have to be a unified sanctioning body to try to regulate some of this stuff, to try to fix a lot of these issues. Because if this continues on, there's going to be more people that's going to manipulate the system. They're going to try to manipulate a lot of the ducking and moving that's going on in boxing. You know what I mean? You know, and that's not just how I kind of see it. So let's try to move forward to the Porter and Ugas fight. Let's start with World Breaker here. So what do you expect out of that fight? Actually, hold on one second. I want to go back to that question I asked you too. I was going to ask you too. What do you think the PBC needs to improve? Because you tried to get credentials from them and you were having a hard time getting it. What do you think has to?
I didn't have a hard time. I didn't get them. 78 didn't get them. Blue Blood didn't get them. So, but Boxing Ego got them, and some smaller channels got them. So this is the thing. The people who treat you the best are the ones that support you morally and financially in this country. Okay? Right. The LDBC supports them both ways. The PBC, they overextend themselves for the PBC collectively. When you don't have representation of the LDBC there, you're setting yourself up for a serious backlash. And maybe Al Heyman doesn't care, or maybe Al Heyman's not in the aware. But at the end of the day, this is something that I'm going to be addressing all week. And I'm going to try to call some of the brothers tomorrow and make it a collaborative effort across all channels. You know, this is the thing. Ethnics, people that are ethnic minorities in this country are driving this sport.
Right.
Casuals don't drive this sport. Ethnic minorities drive this sport.
Right.
Who are either casual or hardcore. So we're the ones that grind this in daily, do it day in and day out, consistently. And so when you have people that have a footprint collectively such as we do, that have a footprint such as Boxing Ego and Dante's Boxing Nation, and you continuously discriminate against us, because I'm going to call it discrimination. It may not necessarily be racial discrimination. It could be media discrimination.
Right.
Because they obviously have African Americans there. Fred goes to those fights, but Fred is also a writer for the LA Times. So it's a little bit different. The fact is, simply stated, there's discriminatory actions being taken against social media content, where print media is basically on the decline. It's irrelevant in many cases. Who the fuck is reading the newspaper? Who the fuck is reading the newspaper? Okay, I mean, seriously, that shit is insane to me.
Right.
And these guys are constantly getting press passes. Television is understandable, but seriously, people who write in newspapers shouldn't be getting fucking press passes. The shit comes a day after the event. The fuck is that? We get media, we get news instantaneously these days.
Mm-hmm.
Viral feeds, updated information all the time. So what is the point of print media?
Right.
Okay. Right. Let me do some little speeding real quick. Anyway, what's the point of if y'all don't know, I'm a speed demon. Anyway, it's one of those things, man. When are these old heads going to convert to reality?
Right.
And see, a lot of us are getting wise. I'm evolving the World Breaker platform to a point where you're going to see World Breaker everywhere eventually. And that's what I encourage everybody to do, because if they see you everywhere, they can't ignore you.
Right.
They simply can't ignore you.
Yeah.
So this whole process, listen, TV has changed. The dynamic of television has changed. People still buying pay-per-views in the United States, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to respect us on a level where we're not sycophantic to them. I'm not going to kiss anybody's ass. I'm going to ask the questions I want to ask. If you got a problem with it, guess what? You got to deal with me in print. You got not in print, but on social media, and that's the truth. So shit, you want to fight fire with fire? Shit, I got the sun. That's how I see it.
And I think it also goes to show you that they do listen to our platforms too. You agree with that?
Of course, they have to. I completely concur with that. A lot of their talking points, they come up, they've heard on our platforms exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
They know they have.
Right. Right. Exactly. So we got
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I was just gonna say we got Focus Ball and MMA here. What's going on, brother?
What's good, brother? Thank you for having me on.
You broke up, bro.
Oh, I did. No, I think World Breaker's breaking up a bit, but that's okay. Okay, so I just wanted to ask your opinions about tonight's fights too of Focus Ball.
Bro, you breaking up? I'm gonna pull back out.
I'll be honest with you. Of all the fights that are coming up, this has probably been the one I've been least interested in.
Okay.
Honestly, like, I thought Ugas was like a European dude or some shit until I saw the picture. I'm like, oh shit, it's a black dude. But
right.
I agree with what World Breaker was saying earlier, that you have these guys that are holding up belts and are not fighting the best. I think if you duck your mandatory, I think once you have a few champions, they should just be fighting each other.
Right.
Before they go on to anything else. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wondered if Porter had missed weight on purpose so he could vacate the title or something. Just like a slick way of getting out the fight. Who knows? I guess we'll see tonight.
Yeah. Because it was weird to me that he basically had to lose the last bit of weight there just by cutting his hair out, which kind of alarms me into thinking that he probably did not either he was not taking the fight a bit too seriously, or it just says maybe they were doing something different in his regimen. You know what I mean?
He's trying to get out of the weight class, because here's the fact of the matter. When you're cutting weight, a lot of people cut water weight, and rarely do they cut muscle weight. I remember during the weigh-ins, someone had shouted out, "He's already dry." And there was a debate, like, how is he going to lose more weight if he's already sucked all the water out of him?
Right.
It says that he wasn't on a good dietary regimen to make the weight. Like, I don't get when someone says they can't make the weight, they're too big for the weight. I get that you can't dehydrate yourself any further because it takes toll on your body. But if you want to make the weight, take one meal out every day, and you'll shrink muscle wise, and you'll be more natural size for that weight class.
Yep, for sure. I agree with that. I agree. Hey, CB Sports CV. I need your email so I can get you the actual link there, because apparently the one that Johnny's trying to send out to you is not a good one. So just try to send me out your email in the chat, and I'll try to send it out to you, brother. But yeah, I gotta understand that kind of perspective there too, because I think what kind of signals to me is, that Porter is probably thinking about maybe moving out of the division or trying to move up to like 154 or something like that. But that's a bit conflicting, because he's a small dude, and he would get crushed at 154. Do you kind of see that way?
He's a small dude,
right?
But he has a lot of muscle mass. You feel me?
Right.
So he can stand to lose a few pounds of muscle to be a more adequate height to width ratio for the weight class.
Okay.
Instead of having to suck it out of his body.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me hear from Hyphy though, because I haven't heard from Hyphy in a minute though, bro. So Hyphy, what's your expectations heading into tonight's fight with Gusak? I don't know how to say Ugas versus Porter.
Hey, can I rewind back for a second just to kind of address that whole PBC thing that we was talking about?
Absolutely. Go ahead, man.
All right. Well, yeah, Reggie Owens, he was in the chat, and he had, kind of a good point. If I could read his post, he was talking about why do people get so overreactive on Al Heyman when these others who have ruined boxing make one move, they're playing catch up to Al Heyman and the PBC. Well, you got to understand it from our standpoint, Reggie. Look, we are the ones who was out here constantly not only defending PBC and Heyman, especially when they was going through that whole, racist email thing and the whole lawsuit and all that. We the ones that was out here, defending them the most, pushing them the most. And even to this day, we the ones that promote their fighters and, push them the most, have they back the most. And so in return, what happens to us? Most of the brothers, they cannot even get their credentials to go to these fights. They hop on TV, do interviews, and they tell us right to our face they're not focused on us. They rather focus on the casuals. So, I mean, we doing all this stuff for the PBC and, standing behind them. And in respect, they telling us we ain't shit. So that's why we getting upset, because the only thing we asking for is let us get the best fights. Y'all got the roster, and I'm not the only one that's heard this, but a very close source to Al Heyman, of course I can't say, but I've been told Al Heyman is the one who really got control at the end of the day over all these fights. He the one who could make these fights if he really want to. So all I'm saying is, like, I done been around. I understand pimping because, coming from the Bay, and I understand this shit real well. I understand pimping when I see it, and that's what's going on. And, hey, they doing what's best for them as far as a business standpoint. So don't get mad at me when I do what's best when it comes to business, because at the end of the day, channels like World Breaker, for example, that dude's been, better to me and shown me more respect than the PBC have. So if it comes to the point where I got to, choose between the PBC or World Breaker, I'm messing with World Breaker. PBC and Al Heyman, they're not showing me the respect as a fan. Y'all don't got to try to milk me for money. Y'all can have my money right now. I will pay a shitload of money for all these fights. Y'all don't got to milk me. Give me the fights right now. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of money in return. I'm going to pass the mic.
Hey, Mr. Reggie Owens, if you got something to counter that, you can feel free to say it on the chat though. But to Jack Daniels, when you say that the zone is taking over, let's hold the brakes on for a second. The zone hasn't. What have they taken over yet? That I'm still conflicted with that. How has the zone is taken over? Have they ever? They've only done a few commercials that I've seen on television, but do they even broadcast many of the major sports? Have they even produced even at least a good fight yet? Now Canelo and Jacobs is going to be a good fight, but is it going to be? But is it a fight that's going to gain any traction because it's using on an app? That's the question. That's the question that I think that we need to answer with that. So. I mean, that's just how I feel with that. So let me just move. So we're going to go ahead and try to move on to the to a new conversation here. Is we're going to discuss about the Porter and Ugas fight. So let's start with Johnny. What do you expect coming out of tonight's fight?
Man, I don't really know Ugas. I never heard of the dude until recently. But Sean Porter should win.
Right.
But the fact that he didn't make weight tells me that he's been slacking. So I think it's gonna be a tight fight.
Mm-hmm.
See, I know I've never seen Ugas before, but from what I hear, he's like very strong, good boxer when he wants to be. But I think Sean Porter should just take care of business today.
Okay. Now, before we continue that conversation, Jack Daniels, again, the same question. What have they taken over? What if the zone has established that makes you believe that they're taking over? You get what I'm saying? Like, while they're joining the zone, right? Well, again, Wilder has not confirmed that he's going to join the zone. What he's doing is he's talking with the executives of the zone and also what they're discussing is they're taking offers about what they're gonna provide for fights. You get what I'm saying? So you can't simply say that they're taking over. And also, what fights that they produce that makes you believe that they're taking over? The last few cards that they've done have not been good. So again, what have they taken over? So I'll leave it up to there. So Fuller, I'm gonna send you this Porter and Ugas question with you. What do you expect out of the Ugas and the Porter fight?
Upset.
You expect upset? Woo! What? Why do you think so, brother?
Now Ugas, earlier in his career when he was at the lower weight classes, he was like drained, and he that's where he got his losses at, when he was at the lower weight classes. When he moved up to 147, he put together a string of victories. Mind you, the opponents he faced were kind of low-tier opponents, but at the same time, I think he found his weight. And also, I think he didn't leave any stone unturned in the preparation for the fight, because the fact of the matter is, this is the first time that he's actually worked with a strength and conditioning coach. So I think what's happening is he's preparing to go at Sean Porter, and at the end of the day too. He's taller than Sean Porter. He's longer than Sean Porter. He's more technically gifted than Sean Porter. So if he follows the Kell Brook blueprint with more combinations, I see Sean Porter getting outboxed and even outmuscled. It's just a matter if the headbutts and the elbows hurt Ugas. That's the main concern.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay, for sure. So let me give you my opinion on this. I think what I'm going to see out of tonight's fight is a couple of things. One, on how will Ugas deal with Porter's pressure, because we do know that even though Porter is not a clean technical fighter, he knows how to get physical with you. He knows how to rough you up. A lot of fighters don't like the rough style. And that's the one thing that Porter does very well, because he knows how to, lean with his head. He knows how to, get in your face and get physical with you. And so when you look at that, Porter fights in a very physical way, almost a bit similar to the way physically of how Shane Mosley used to fight. But I'm interested to see how Ugas deals that. The second thing is, can Porter try to quicken the pace of the fight to try to get Ugas frustrated? That's one of the key things I'll try to look for in tonight's fight. And also, thirdly, can Ugas hurt Sean Porter? He's got some good, decent skills, but can he hurt him? You know what I mean? And that's how I kind of see it. So So, focus ball. If you have anything to say about the Porter fight, what do you think about the what are you looking for in tonight's fight? What do you think?
So just from observing, like I haven't seen too much of Ugas, like I
Right.
said, but just from seeing them in the weigh-ins, Ugas looks like the rangy type. Knowing the way that Sean Porter fights, as you said, he likes to crash into you and smother you and get really physical. To deal with somebody like that, you'll have to have the footwork and perfect circling to not get trapped in the corners. So if Ugas can deliver the footwork with good jab and fighting off of his back foot, then he could steal the night.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I haven't seen too much of Ugas fights, so I couldn't really tell you.
Okay, for sure. Respect that. So now I'm going to try to switch up the talk just a touch bit though. So if let's see, if Wilder decides to sign with Tyson Fury, do you guys all agree in unison that Tyson Fury will get knocked out this time? Because because what we all know is that Deontay Wilder came in at 215 and he basically put him on the ground and then Tyson Fury got the long count. And so in hindsight, do you guys believe that if Wilder goes in at 225 and basically keeps the weight together, do you think it's going to result in a knockout at this point at that in the second fight?
So here's what I think about that. I've heard people telling Wilder that, or him saying that he wants to gain weight for the next fight or some crazy ish like that. Bro, you don't need to gain a pound. You dropped him at 215. All you need to do is change the angle of your punches. Mix up his punches. If he's that arrow-like right hand, if he changed the level and just go to the body, go to the head, then go to the body, Tyson Fury ducks into it and puts his face right into where the body shot would go. So as soon as he added another punch, he got him. So all I would say for him is just be patient and mix up your punches. Don't load up on one punch. Use your jab and head movement. Wilder actually has pretty good head movement. And if you go to my videos and watch the blow-by-blow breakdown for Fury versus Wilder, Wilder actually beat him on the scorecard. It was 115-110. I went through the video round by round showing every punch that landed. Wilder outlanded him more rounds. So if he goes in there more relaxed, throwing more volume in his punches, less power on the punch, he can set up for that power shot.
Okay, cool. So, Fuller, so I was pass down the question to you, my friend. What do you expect out of the? Do you believe that Wilder should put more weight in for himself if he decides to fight Fury the second time, Fuller? Fuller, you there?
He on mute.
Okay, he's on mute. Okay, so I'll pass on the question to you, Johnny. What do you think that Wilder needs to improve on if he gets an opportunity to fight Fury the second time? Do you think it's based on weight, or you think he's got to fight? He needs to fight a bit of a smarter fight, just like a focus ball talked about?
I don't think it's the weight. I think because Wilder was doing good things in the first fight, but he abandoned the game plan. What he needs to do in the rematch, in my opinion, is carry on with the body work, because you got to establish the jab to the body and fight at a high pace. Because if you fight at a high pace, then you're gonna gas Tyson Fury out by like probably round 8, and so another time you can knock him out. And another thing was, you see in the 12th round, Wilder did something that that's very rare to see in today's fighters. What I noticed was he actually delayed his punch. He timed Tyson Fury's head movement. He waited for Fury to get up, and he tagged him with the right hand, and then followed up with the left. See, what Wilder need to do, in my opinion, is just mix up your attacks, be unpredictable, like jab to the body, and then you can feint down, jab to the body, come up with the right hand. Or you could just be looking straight at the face, at his eyes, and then dig a jab to the body. Or basically just mix your attacks. You can probably switch southpaw. But in my opinion, like body work needs to be established. Because if you get the body, the legs will be gone and the head will be there for the knockout. And yeah, just be unpredictable and just be loose, be relaxed. Don't go looking for the knockout because most of the time the knockouts come to Wilder. Just fight your fight. And at this time, I think this time, I also believe that Wilder got Tyson Fury's timing now. So I think Wilder will win by knockout in the rematch.
All right. Yeah, for sure. Lala D just said that. How the hell you bring all these shows in on your first show? I mean, hey, they know who I am, so they know my association. So, I mean, it's all good. They can come in, and and then they'll get smoked either way. So, it's all good, man. Whenever you see any trolls, either time them out or you can block them. But make sure to read the comments first. That's the most important thing. So let's go down to Mr. Hyphy here. So Hyphy, what do you think? What do you think Wilder needs to prove upon if he decides to fight? If he has a chance to fight Fury a second time, barring if the fight does happen?
Hey, yeah, no disrespect to you. I'm just gonna pass on this question because not only is that fight not happening next, it ain't no telling when that fight is happening. So I'm gonna just pass on that shit right now. Somebody else can handle that, or we can move on.
Okay, that's fair. No problem. Okay, so let's think about this. So let's think about where the current state of boxing is going at this particular point in time. How about you try some of this, Hyphy? What do you think? Here's what I'm thinking about in terms of what's going on in boxing right now. There's a huge. What I think is that a lot of the networks are trying to acquire the big stars to try to produce the big fights for their brand. And what is happening is they're bringing in big purses, but what they're doing is that they're neglecting the value of the fans. So what I'm concerned about is this: if this trend continues on, one thing I'm really concerned about is if they don't have good decent fights down the line for us to watch, a lot of the diehard fans are going to start ditching away from the sport. That's been going on for almost a long time. You know what I mean? So I really hope I'm a hopeful person. I always would want to see a good fight that's going to happen. Especially, I would really want to see a Fury versus Wilder rematch. But just like what Hyphy said, there's no guarantees it's going to happen, and I don't think it will happen because what Bob Arum is basically doing is he's trying to control the heavyweight division, with the division he hasn't controlled in almost in a long time. So, but here's what a lot of the Fury fans need to understand. When's the last time Fury has ever had that kind of big of a purse? You know what I mean? Because he never had that big, purse or even huge money contract coming to him in any point in his career. And so what Fury is making the mistake is he's burning bridges with guys that helped him what he is at this particular point in time. And so I'm worried and concerned that these fighters, like that these promoters are going to try to control a lot of what's going on in the sport, and they're going to try to neglect, and they're trying to focus on their bottom line rather than just making the best fight for all of us. So I'll open up the floor to all you guys. So what do you think about that kind of assessment? We'll start with Hype.
Hey, well, yeah, you said it right. They trying to, basically sign up all these guys, but at the same time, they gonna try to, get the most money out of their fans they can. So I'm gonna be a hating ass nigga. I hope all these networks collapse and all these promoters, all that. I don't give a fuck. Y'all not trying to give us the fights. So yeah, I'm gonna be a hating ass nigga too. Y'all hated on me, so I'm gonna hate on y'all. As far as that go, but I've been telling people ever since 2018, because everybody was, getting kind of happy regarding this whole Fox deal and all that stuff, and thinking that, boxing was going to be a pretty good year in 2019. At the end of the day, all these networks, they coming in the game. homie, they trying to get the best fights. Y'all seen how the Fox deal was? They are demanding a certain amount of championship fights every year. I'm pretty sure the Zone got something set up like that too. So they want championship fights. So it's not in the best of any of these promoters to have unification fights if they need to fulfill X amount of championship fights for these networks. So it's look, the way that shit is set up, it ain't set up for the fans to win. If y'all smart, y'all gonna do like me. If these hoes want to be all about business, it's business with me too. I don't give a fuck how little it costs per month.
Fact.
Go ahead, Focus Ball.
I agree with homie 100%. We're the ones spending the money. Quick question to everybody right now. Imagine where does all the money that Bob Arum, all these, where does that money come from? All the money in boxing, where does it come from? The $1 billion deals, who's it coming from? It's the fans spending the money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agreed.
If we just don't spend it on, I got an idea, and this is kind of a radical one, right? Follow this.
Okay.
Man A plus man B equals boxing. Now, if we add fans to that, it equals money. It equals profit, a shit ton of money. So when you have two people who have a problem and they fight, people will come to watch it. Mm-hmm. Promoters are not in that equation. Networks are only in that equation because it allows more people to watch it. But now in this modern age, we have YouTube. Didn't two dudes from a UK guy, a UK boxer, and a YouTuber from California, they got together and fought and made like $5 million or some shit?
Yep, that's actually fact. Yep.
So the fact of the matter is, network is not needed, promoters not needed, yet they control all of it, and they'll tell us that the money we give them, they can't put on the best fights. Well, how about we just spend our money elsewhere? You don't respect our dollar, we go spend it somewhere else. Like,
right.
I'm a stream fights, and I'll go hit up Wilder. I'll hit him up on his fucking Instagram and send him a couple bucks through that. Like, yo, here's $20. That's my fucking contribution for the fight. I ain't buying shit. I'm streaming it. Because you ain't gonna put on what I want, or you're gonna blackball people and try to control the entire sport. You get me? So to fix boxing, we need to get rid of the sanctioning bodies and the promoters. And the best way to do that is imagine if the people, the fans, came together and made the people's belt. Radical dreaming, right?
Right.
If we had the people's belt, then we choose which boxer can fight for that. And we eventually change the tides. Yep.
And you know what? And actually, that's actually sparked something that BFTB mentioned about what he favors too. He would this maybe favoring maybe the role of maybe the lineal championship over undisputed. You guys get that kind of
yeah.
thing?
I understand what he's saying, because it's the man who beat the man who beat the man who beat the man.
Exactly.
And the sanctioning bodies. I made a video on this. Check it out. Why the fuck would I beat up another man, train for months, fight this man, and beat him, then pay you some of my money to give me a belt?
Right.
In MMA, it's different. You fight. MMA fighters don't pay for their belt. Boxers pay for their belt. And if I don't pay you, I get stripped. So then I'm fighting so that I can pay you, so that I can earn the spot to pay you. That's fucking stupid. How about I fight, and if I was Deontay Wilder, as soon as I would unite all those belts, what I would do is this. I'd take all of them in the trash, use my money to make a belt out of diamonds and gold and shit. And this is called the one belt. You have to fucking beat me for it. If you don't beat me for it, you ain't a fucking champion, because I'm the man.
Right.
So that's how. And then who's gonna decide who fights him? You get me? It would be the people. The people would vote on that.
Right.
And we get rid of the sanctioning bodies.
Right. Exactly. So, Fuller, what do you think about that kind of assessment that Focus Ball talked about?
Well, the thing is about the boxing thing right now is that it's a cold war, It's basically like the scramble of Africa, where you had the Europeans, you had the Germans, you had the French, you had the Belgians, the Portuguese, and they were like, okay, this part belongs to me, this part belongs to you guys, and different parts had certain resources, and they were like, well, you know, we have this part, and basically you're getting this part, this guy's getting this part, and this, that, and the other. And it's the same thing with this boxing. Like, it's, as I said, these belts don't belong to the fighters. The belts belong to the networks and the promoters.
Right.
That's the whole thing. So when you have a belt, Bob Arum, what Bob Arum does is, if he has control over a belt, he's gonna put his guy against a guy who's in-house, so that belt can stay there, because he knows that, and people aren't gonna agree with me, but there's a high chance that Terrence Crawford would lose to a Keith Thurman, would lose to a Sean Porter even. You know, I don't put it past Sean Porter's crazy self to beat him. You know, there's a high chance that may happen. So if that were to happen, that belt goes with him. That belt goes over to the enemy side. So therefore, because of that, you know, he's not going to let that happen. So boxing is at a Cold War point right now. So that's why it's, at the end of the day, these sanctioning bodies are just like banks, I guess you can say, because not only do you pay sanctioning bodies, but you pay VADA too. You know,
right.
Like you pay VADA testing. The fighter has to pay for voluntary testing. That's like the most backwards shit I've heard in my life.
I know.
Like, it's very backwards. Like, okay, you're paying to get tested voluntarily. Like, what kind of sense does that make? So
right.
At the end of the day, what will have to happen is, you know, you just have to get rid of these belts, because these belts are alphabet soups. You know, like, honestly, there's some belt holders. I mean, honestly, when you look at a person like Anthony Joshua, he's just chaperoning belts right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know? He's not like a guy. He's not like a legitimate guy that's like, okay, well, he has he's a legit champ. He's just like chaperoning belts. So
right,
you got to get rid of these belts, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you do have these belts, you have to like give it a certain. You have to have a certain amount of time where you have to make a defense, and the defense has to be a solid defense, or you have to do unifications where you have to do Mando unifications, not just like, oh, the fighter decides they want to unify. No, you have to put it in there where you have to unify. Otherwise those fighters have to vacate, or whatever the case may be. Because these sanctioning bodies are, as I said, these sanctioning bodies do some underhanded stuff, you know, a lot of underhanded stuff. Because, I mean, the WBC, they even made a belt for Canelo. They made him his own belt.
I know. It's like the most weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like, there's no freaking way that any fighter in boxing has their own belt. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm saying that with these sanctioning bodies, then it's like they have to like really there has to be someone who regulates these sanctioning bodies. That's what has to happen, because there's too much corruption in them. You know, right. Like WBC, I guarantee you that WBC will not make Canelo defend that belt ever again. Mandatory, I guarantee you. And I wouldn't be even surprised if Canelo vacates those belts. I would not be surprised at all if he just vacates all them damn belts.
Right.
Moves up to 175 and fights Kovalev.
Right,
bro.
Right. No, right. No, right. Exactly. I mean, it's crazy because it's just crazy how these sanctioning bodies influence and control a lot of the sport. And honestly though, if we had to decide to clear up the entire sport of boxing from top to bottom, I would agree. In realms to what Focus Ball was saying previously. If we had like one lineal championship belt where you are the top boxer in the world, and you have to beat this person to be the man, then it would basically clean up a lot of the issues and a lot of the corruption that's going on. Because Guillermo Rigondeaux is one of the great examples, and you know this for a fact, Fula. How in the world that Guillermo Rigondeaux lost his rankings in the WBA when he moved up 2 weight classes to fight against Vasily Lomachenko because he couldn't get no fights because nobody wanted to fight him? You see how crooked up that is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what they do. That's what they do.
I know. It's entirely crooked because, there is no physical way. Let me tell you this: if Kevin Durant decided that, I'm just gonna duck LeBron James for my entire career, or I'm just so I can win championships, we would be up in arms, just like ripping the dude. You know what I mean? Only in boxing where we see a lot of the strategical ducking and strategical tactics going on here. You get what I'm saying, Fula?
I'm sorry to say it, bro, but a lot of times, and I'm just keeping it a stat. A lot of times, these fans are fans of fighters and not the sport of boxing. Canelo fans will tell you, man, Canelo, he drives such and such. Canelo likes to wear this cologne. Canelo's favorite food is some Buterol meat. He likes to eat that. People will tell you, oh man, Lomachenko's English is getting so much better. Lomachenko, he used to be a dancer. Lomachenko, they're a fan of that aspect, but they're not a fan of seeing like the art of boxing. A lot of the casual fans are MMA guys anyway. They don't want to see guys technical fights. That, I'm sorry to say it, but that's why this fight tonight a Sean Porter fight is always hard to judge because a lot of times these judges go off at
You're breaking up a bit though, Fula.
But it's doing anything. What I'm saying is that, fans like to see brawling. Like they like to see like people fighting with their head down and stuff like that. That's what fans like to see.
Mm-hmm.
What fans?
There's only a very, very select few of fans that like to see the hit, don't get hit, exchange with a dude, counter with a dude, hit him, like good inside fighting, distance keeping. Not a lot of people like to see that. So when you look at quote unquote Mexican style, that's why these people are drawn to that. That's why people are drawn to a Canelo, because he personifies that kind of thing. So that's why they're doing everything to protect it. Whereas with Wilder, a lot of people dislike Wilder because he's just 100. He just keeps it a being, keeps it a stack. But although he knocks out people, I'm sorry to say it, but he doesn't have the image that they like. Unfortunately, with a lot of these fans, they look for marketable image too. That's what they look at. So that's just my 2 cents on that situation.
Hey, if you want any funny takes about ducking, and also with a lot of stuff about ducking and Cuban fighters, you can ask for CV at any time. So, all right, though, man. So now I'm gonna try to. So I guess we can try to wrap this up now because I got to take care of some things. So, bro. So let's try to get some last words in. So and also I sent out a link to subscribe to Focus Ball, Boxing, and MMA. Y'all make sure that y'all come over.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Come over and subscribe to that man. You know, I just checked out one of his videos. He's got good at analytics and also good details about a lot of stuff in boxing, though, bro. So go ahead and check it out. So go ahead and Focus Ball. Go ahead and give me your last words, my man.
So let me see. I'll try to make it as quick as possible.
Take your time.
What people have to understand is that boxing embodies social politics.
Right.
What happened in the beginning of boxing, ultimately American life and racial politics in America was changed overnight with one boxing match, you know? So we still see a lot of that today. So what Fuller was saying about he doesn't have the image that Deontay Wilder has, that Deontay Wilder personifies, whether he chooses to or not, is it goes back to the root of boxing. So it's ironic that he was there for the pardoning of Jack Johnson, you know? Right. So they're definitely, what's going on right now is that you're right. There is a boxing cold war, and the fans are the ones that are going to suffer. Bless you, brother. So the fans are the ones that are going to suffer. But all these belts essentially dilute the idea of being a champion.
Right.
The champion is the one guy who's the best. If we're going to have a bunch of belts, then there is no champion. And if they're not going to fight, we don't have a champion. So therefore, why are we giving our money to these sanctioning bodies? We pay them. They're on our payroll. The money that the fighters pay you came from the fans. Mm-hmm. So I think that we should stop talking about it and make like a little website or some shit. Maybe I should do it. Or anyone listening, make a little website where it's a ranking system. The fans rank based on body of work. You get me? Yeah. And we can create a belt for that, and we award that to whatever fighter we want. Eventually, it starts off as something small. It might sound crazy, but Rome wasn't built in a day, and the pyramid started with one brick, right? Right. So they go where the money is. Networks move where the money is. Promoters move where the money is. But they think you're stupid because they have a vehicle to program you. That's why they're called TV programmings. So they program you and dilute you and appeal to the casuals with money and all sorts of lavish bullshit to make man fans. They don't cater to the fans that created the sport. So our dollar shouldn't cater to them. Mm-hmm. We should call that the casual belt. Those are casual belts. You know, so if the hardcore stop subscribing to that, literally, like, we just don't buy that. Pay-per-view sales die. And they see, like, people in the LDBC and all these new media channels out there, and we're bigging up guys on the low that aren't really getting it like that. And we're like, yo, listen, we can why can't we work with a promoter to sanction a fight for this belt? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know the laws of it. Maybe I'm just being fucking crazy. I am smoking a little bit of bud, so I'm perhaps being a little crazy. But nonetheless, I think it would have to start with the heavyweight champion. That's why everybody's vying for control over who can be the heavyweight champion. So lastly, as my channel is called, the Focus Ball, Boxing, and MMA, these little things right here are the focus balls. That's what I use to develop my head movement, hand-eye coordination, things of that nature. So if you're into boxing and MMA, you definitely want to fuck with one of these. If you don't have a punching bag, if you can't hang it up, you can take one of these fuckers with you anywhere you go. Train outside in the park, doesn't matter. And even if you don't actually want to box, or if you're not like a real boxer or whatever, it's still pretty fun to train with. So yeah, check that out.
All right, cool. So everybody in the chat, subscribe to Focus Ball, Boxing, and MMA, though, bro. It's got a lot of good content, a lot of good discussions, though, bro. And he's real as it gets, so man, go ahead and subscribe to that, brother. So let's go next to Mr. Fuller. Go ahead and give me your last words, my man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the link. It was a good discussion, like usual. Looking forward to you having more shows about various topics and stuff like that. I just want to say this. I know this is random as hell, but I'm reading a book, and I was talking to my Eritrean friend, and he said that Cuba actually helped help Ethiopia against Eritrea. That's actually false. They were helping both sides basically from this book. What I got from this book, they were actually helping both sides in the matter, you know. So I just wanted to point that out because there's that misconception basically, and they sent, you know, Eritreans went to Cuba to get training and all kinds of other stuff, this, that, and the other, you know. So yeah, man, looking forward to more discussions, you know, more sports related discussions, more life related discussions whenever you're whenever you're down.
Okay, for sure, bro. And I will say this, I will make this announcement though. I'm gonna save the Eritrean discussion. I'm gonna save it close to the Independence Day, which is the week of May 24th. I'm gonna try to save that because I want to keep up with my history and try to get refreshed to it, so that way we can at least have a productive discussion about it, so I don't speak out of my ass. You get what I'm saying? So go ahead. So okay. So Fuller, go ahead and speak your piece and give me your last words, my man.
You mean like hyphy? Because I just spoke.
I'm sorry. Hyphy. Go ahead and give me your last words, my brother.
All right, for sure. Yeah, you know, everybody in the chat, thank y'all for coming through. Reggie, you know, up in the chat, me and him, we, you know, I guess kind of had a little bit of disagreement. It kind of wasn't fair because, you know, I'm on the panel able to speak my piece, and, you know, he said he was out shopping and stuff with his kids. So, but still, you know, I got a lot of respect for Reggie. Reggie's cool. We cool. Just had a little bit of disagreement, but that's still a good brother, and y'all should sub to his channel as well. But everybody else in the chat, the same way boxing works, boxing can't work without us fans. In this chat, I mean, we need y'all just to, you know, promote us as the same. So at the end of the day, boxing, the money is really with the fans, because no matter how many companies, advertisers come in, they try to throw some money. They all do that, and they expect to recoup their money from people like us, the fans. So this shit, it really comes down to us fans. And I just tell any fan, hey, y'all, if you're not being respected and you ain't getting your money worth, hey, you know what I'm saying, stand for something. Make something happen about it. Boxing, they ain't treating us right. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Sean, it could be about business. If it's about business with them, it's about business with me. I don't care if the stream costs $10. Hey, I could use that $10 for something else. I don't care if it's $5.99, whatever. So, yeah, if they want to play this whole business thing, it's about business. And we all got to stand for something. As y'all can see, you know, the brothers having a hard time getting credentials and stuff. I rock with the LDBC brothers before I rock with Al Heyman and PPC. I don't know no goddamn Al Heyman. I don't know PPC. I know people in the LDBC. That's who I rock with. So, yeah. Hey, y'all fans, you know what I'm saying? Get y'all money worth. Have some respect. And at the end of the day, we all want to see the best fight the best. I'm not big onto talking about who's getting this purse. Wherever Wilder go, I'm going to support him. Because, you know, hey, he going to give us the best fights. We need fighters like that. Hey, we just want to see the best fight the best. That's the best way to wrap it up. Best fight the best.
All right. All right. Thanks so much, though, Hyphy. Okay, Johnny, go ahead and spit out your last words, my man.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me, bro. It was a great stream.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
And LDBC is what boxing needs. We're tired of this promoting, tired of this business talk. We just want to see best fight the best. If these promoters are talking business, we're going to do business as well. So, yeah, that's about it.
All right. Thanks so much, you guys. Okay, guys. Thank you all for coming to this first edition of my live stream here. I'm calling this now Mahari Sports. So, Mahari Nation Sports. So go ahead and subscribe to Focus Ball MMA. Make sure y'all to follow Hyphy, Johnny, and Full of Sports there as well. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time, but we're going to discuss about the greatest players in NBA history. So if anybody likes to talk about basketball or anything like that, you know, feel free to come on board. We'll have a good discussion about it, and then we'll go from there. So for all of us here, here on my live stream today, thank you all for showing up, and have a great night, guys.
Salute, Abel. Thank you for having me on. Bless.
Peace.
Shout out to the LDBC. You don't know.
Thank you. Peace. Shout out to the LDBC.